No doubt about it, I'm a warm weather guy. I like it to be warmer than I do hot. So as the temperatures start warming up and when I walk outside, I can hear the birds chirping and you just kind of feel that air being right. I know the bass are on the move. They're in that pre-spawn pattern, which is one of my favorite ways to target them. Not that I have any unfavorite ways, because when I'm fishing, I'm having fun, but when I know that those fish are on the move, they're making that beginning trips up to the spawning flats, they're starting to get in the drains, they're starting to get in the ditches, they're starting to migrate back into those situations, you can find them ganged up and grouped up. I mean, places, for instance, where there's a lot of grass, and you can get in those situations where a bunch of fish have set up in that grass, and you can get in there with a lipless crankbait. If it's real shallow, I'm going to throw a small one. If it's deeper grass, I'm going to throw the 3/4 to 1 ounce ones. And you're throwing this kind of bait into the water, and you're letting it sink, and you're ripping it out of the grass, trying to get a reaction bite, or you're taking a crankbait, a build type bait, and you're just barely ticking that grass, or maybe you're throwing a jerk bait over it, a little bit more aggressive. It only gets down around 3 or 4 feet, and you're covering a lot of water to pick up those bites.
Oh, he choked on it. We got him good. We had a Roku shad is buried in his mouth, wedged in there. Golly. Get a hold of this big old fat guy. Girl, look how fat that big girl is.
When it comes to colors in the springtime, or really any time of the year, I've really tried to simplify a lot of my approaches over the last few years. Now, if I travel to a lake and I know they've got a specific type of bait fish in that lake that I need to really match the hatch, I most certainly will change and pick up a lot more of that colors. But I've really kind of narrowed it down to a variety of red hues to mimic, crawfish in the spring, a lot of chartreuse type colors for different types of fishing situations, and a lot of shad types colors and variations of each one of those, even more in depth when I'm out cranking or throwing moving baits. And like this is, to me, I call this a clown color. It's a bait that I really like to throw this color and this style on a real good sunny day when fish, are both really aggressive and when they're kind of lethargic in how they're biting at different times. And I've just got a lot of confidence in that bait. So when I have that little voice that tells me I need to be throwing jerk bait based on my past experiences, and I tie that on, I'm generally going to throw it on 10 or 12 pound Sunline Sniper. That line sinks. It's going to allow that bait to get a lot of great action out in the water, and I'll make long casts in key areas. And the biggest thing I have to do, especially in that pre-spawn time that we're mostly talking about right now, is to fish it slow. A little suspending jerk bait. A chunky bass right there. So as I dig deeper into that pre-spawn, moving bait period where I'm throwing jerk baits, crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, throwing chatterbait style baits, whatever it may be, a few things I always try to keep in mind. I'm going to have if it's really cold, it's a really, windy, tough day out there, and you're fighting it, put the wind at your back a little bit, let it push you along. You have some calmer, still days. You can use your trolling motor to move around, position a lot more. I spend a lot of time looking at my live scope for objects in the water that the fish could be holding on before they make that final move up shallow to spawn. I mix my retrieves up a lot. I'm trying to get a reaction bite. I'm trying to trick one into bite. I'm trying to get them aggressively to target whatever I'm throwing. So, I'm trying to make it happen a lot of times in those types of fishing situations. And it's one of those great times of the year that you've got a chance to catch an absolute giant on any cast and catch a lot of them on back-to-back casts.
There you go. Another good one right there. You hit anchor lock right there. Just stay right here on him. You just got wind blowing in on this. It's a timing deal. We just happen to be the lucky ones that timed up when some of these fish are, up there moving. I was trying to play a little too much TV right there instead of getting him in. And you can kind of see the result. We're making the exact same cast over and over. Live scope showing me where the edge of that grass is. And there's another one. And that really helps when you can dial that in like that. And now I've been able to put the boat in the exact spot because I've hit, the anchor lock on there, and I can repeat that cast. And that's the key, I think, a lot of times on some of these edge fish that you get dialed in. Look out there, I'm gonna come right there. There we go.